Good morning. Craig Howard here. Happy to be with you again this morning. Everybody knows who the Muppets are. Um, our kids grew up with the Muppets. I don't know, maybe I even grew up with the Muppets. Um, the Muppets are one of my wife's favorite characters, groups of characters. She loves Muppet movies. Um, my kids, my daughter especially, loves Muppet movies. My son, when he was little, loved Muppet movies. He had one of the Tickle Me Elmos. Um, you know, it was sort of an iconic group, and everybody loved them because they were funny. There was an innocence and a purity about them that made them fun to watch. They touched the hearts of children and adults, for that matter. But the two creators of the Muppets, Frank Oz and Jim Henderson. Jim passed away in 1990, and Frank became less and less involved over time until the Muppet franchise was sold to Disney. And in an interview, people were, they said, "What do you think has happened?" They asked Frank Oz, "What do you think has happened to the Muppets? They don't seem to have the same appeal. They're losing their audience." And Frank Oz said they've lost their soul. And somebody suggested, well, maybe they need to bring in somebody that's new and creative and able to do something new with the Muppets. And Frank said that's the problem with the Muppets right now. They've tried to do new creative things that haven't connected. He said they need to go back to the innocence and purity that made the Muppets attractive to children and adults alike from the very beginning. They've lost what the Muppets are supposed to be about. I thought about that, and I thought about how easy it is for Christians and for the church to get swept up in the newest thing and lose what the church is really supposed to be about, lose what Christianity is really supposed to be about, and that's the gospel of Jesus Christ. Paul made the statement, he said, "I'm not ashamed of the gospel." In other words, I'm not going to move away from the gospel so I can be a part of something that's newer and more exciting. I'm going to stay with the gospel. Now, you might say to yourself, well, this is just an old man talking, and he's old, and so he wants things to stay the way they have always been. That's not true. I want things to be effective. And I've looked at what's effective. I've looked at what touches the hearts of teenagers at camp. And it's not having some new twist on Scripture. It's taking them back to the truth of God's love. It's taking them back to how much God cares about them, to the truth of the gospel, that Jesus loved them so much that he died for them. You know, Paul kind of addressed this in Jude chapter, or not Paul, but anyhow, this was addressed in Jude verses 3 and 4. And if you have to ask what chapter, you've never read Jude. It says, "Dear friends, although I was very eager to write you about the salvation we share, we felt compelled to write and urge you to contend for the faith that was once and for all, not for now so it can be changed later, once and for all, that faith that was once and for all entrusted to God's holy people," or to the saints. Said, "Because there are certain individuals whose condemnation was written about long ago and have secretly slipped in among you. They are ungodly people who pervert the grace of our God into a license for immorality, to deny Christ as our only sovereign and Lord." In other words, he says, there's somebody coming in with a new message, and they're perverting what is the truth of the gospel. He said, the gospel that we presented to you, that truth about God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. That truth where Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me." That truth where Jesus said, "I will never leave you or forsake you." And on. Those simple truths that Jesus taught. He said those were delivered once and for all. It's tempting to try to find something new and exciting. But the excitement of the gospel is that it never changes. It can always be depended on. And we need to hold to the purity and the innocence of what the church was founded on, and that's on the love of God. Today, this isn't just an old man trying to talk about days gone by. I love new stuff. I love doing new things. Still do. Always will. It's just who I am. I love seeing new places. I love being part of new events. But when it comes to the message we preach, when it comes to the truth that we share, that needs to remain to what God delivered in the beginning, to what Jesus shared. Something to think about today. Hope you have a great day today. I've got a full day planned. Mom and Dad, if you're watching, I love you. Talk to you later. Bye.